We don't cut because we're not cutters.
Not cutters.
We don't need the attention that badly.
Exactly. We have high self-esteem. Okay, so let's try this and see if it works. Welcome to Everyone Racers, a podcast designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture. Whatever kind of LeChump or track dog you run, SCCA or NASA, we don't discriminate. We even think you Dripto Hella Flush guys are all right, as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussion, tips, tricks, news and notes for the world of low buck racing, and if you can handle it, Chrissy will give you just the tip. I'll be your fake pit marshal. My name's actually Mental. Everyone reports at the paddock. It's still you, Chris. You still say.
Oh,
he froze.
I was waiting for Chrissy. Hey, this is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
And I'm still Mental. So thanks for coming back to in the notes we say awesome episode of the podcast, but I'm not going to lie. We're down 25%. We're down on power. It's Sunday. We're just trying to finish the race because we've lost the fourth leg of our stool.
And then we have an 8-hour tow home.
That's a callback thing, folks. That's a comedy routine. All right.
So, yeah, we're without Jeff this weekend because Jeff has to do a thing called work and not get divorced. These are good things for Jeff to do.
The more important thing is the not get divorced part.
Yeah.
Chrissy, is Chris frozen? Because he's hysterical to me. I'm going to take this picture and put it on Facebook.
Oh, good.
You might want to close your video and start over again.
Okay. Anyway.
No.
I don't know. No, never mind. You can't do that. Okay. So, what are we working on?
Yeah. So, Chrissy, what you working on?
So this weekend we had a dual car weekend of work in the garage. We started with Saturday. Jim was over. Jim Wakeman, Jeff's brother. He was over to help with the breakdown of the Civic. So we'll talk lots more about what we need to do with that and how it went. But we worked all day on that. We had the motor pulled about a little after noon, right before lunch. And then we kind of continued to tear it down and pull the parts apart. And then Sunday we worked on my sister's Mazda 3, and we got that all done. Actually, most of it was Chris. I can't even take much responsibility for that, but I did help here and there. We did suspension, brakes, fluids, all kinds of good stuff. So it's pretty much like a brand new car. So that's about what we've been working on.
What was your goal when you guys got that thing for? You knew it needed what, shocks and...
We just wanted enough. It didn't need a whole lot of things. It needed enough to make sure that it was going to pass inspection and be safe. So it did. A couple of the shocks were blown, and I think you could use. And actually, we found that a whole bunch of things had never been done. So it was nice to get that all up to speed.
We just wanted to give the car a good baseline because we wanted to essentially have it be worry-free and not touch it. So, all new shocks, all new brakes. The rear trailing arm bushings actually fell out when I pulled the trailing arms, and so that was no good. All new fluids, plugs, filters, all that jazz. So it's all refreshed now. It's very nice.
And she loves the car anyway, because like as you've mentioned before, Chrissy. Hi, Chrissy's mom.
Everybody loves the car. Chrissy's mom loves the car too.
Chrissy's dad drives it every day these days, actually.
Yes, right. That's true. They're down a car, so they're driving. My parents are driving it, actually.
So basically, you guys fixed up your sister's car so your parents could have it.
That's true.
That's exactly it. Because my mom has her dad's car, because that makes sense. So,
story for another time. Chris, what are you working on?
What happened to Christine's lovely BMW wagon?
Well, we didn't tell you. Oh, she got hit by an Uber driver and totaled out the E46.
Oh no! I love that car.
So does she.
So
did she.
Well, and because there are so many manual transmission steel blow E46 wagons around.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. And we had replaced everything, clutch, the D10 pins in the trans, bushings, ball joints, you name it. It was
a new door when she needed it.
Yep. All that stuff.
Cooling system. You redid all that.
So the Uber driver hits her right front corner and then scrapes all down the side. That's very well totaled. So she is in the process of getting a new Mazda CX-5 now, actually. That's what we've ultimately decided.
Okay. Now, have they already taken the car from her? Because I will totally pay scrap volume for that car just to have a manual E46 wagon.
It's not repairable, really. It's bad.
Oh, that just... There's a guy down here in Atlanta does HPDE, and he does all kinds of track days, and he shows up at every low buck race, and he's got this gorgeous gold manual transmission E46 wagon with a 4-point roll bar on the back of it. It is I am so jealous of this thing. And he shows up with his track wheels in the back of his wagon. It's only a 2-seater, and then he puts his stuff on there, has a great day, and drives home.
That's fantastic. That's commitment too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also keeps you just a little bit slower when you're out there because you know you've got to drive.
That's true.
Home.
That's kind of like when you drove the BMW to CMP and took it on track.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was the thought that went through my head in my third session when I'm hammering around the track for 15 laps with a track prepped E46 M3 and a Ferrari 430. And I'm on stock suspension, Continental Street tires, and stock brakes. And I said, you know what? I need to drive this 9 hours home.
Yeah, that is literally one of those devil and angel kind of moments, because the devil shows up and goes, Ferrari. I'm totally keeping it up with stock tires and stock brakes on a car that I daily drive. And then the angel pops up and goes, that you have to drive home for 9 hours.
So that angel was
me.
They
fight for a little bit.
Yeah. That angel was me because I was saying, I'm not coming to pick you up. So you can figure out how to get home.
Hey, it was successful. Had a great time. Only chewed up some of the tires and some of the brakes and drove home. And the car was a lot of fun. So, yeah, but that's what happened on my mom's car. She actually broke a bone in her foot even in the course of this whole thing. Yep. So she has a boot on and has this pirate leg thing that she puts her knee on and walks around and falls down with. And, yeah, it's a shame. But she's okay for the most part. But now we got to get her something new. But fortunately, we can get her a new car with all kinds of nice safety features like lane keeping and brake for you when you don't notice things and all that, backup cameras and blind spot monitors and cross traffic alert and all the fancy, wonderful safety features Mazda has in their all new 2017 CX-5.
And I hear you because you're trying to take care of your mom, but bear in mind this is a woman that drove a manual wagon just fine until Uber driver decided he didn't like her car.
Yep. So that's what we're doing. All right, and that's why she has Chrissy's dad's car, is because you can't keep the rental car forever while we're trying to figure out what to do. So she's using Joe's old 2005 Ford Escape that he got for free from another family member, so it continues the tradition of passing around the free car to whoever needs a car right now, because it's such a wonderful thing, the 2005 Ford Escape. Even if it was new, it was not class-leading in any way.
Yeah, my friend Ben back in Oklahoma, his parents had one, and he'd get a car, and then if something would break on it, and he'd end up having to borrow it, and we'd all start up on him about having the Escape. We had another nasty word for it, and then he'd go and he bought a 318 Ti and did an S54 swap, and then halfway through that it went sideways, so he ended up back in the Escape, and yeah.
It's like the sad place you go to when everything else in life fails. Is you're back in the Escape. Oh, I'm sorry, man. Anything I can do to help?
It's like going home.
Our listeners' car.
I don't think anyone there thinks it's great, but hey, it works. You know what? That's what's great. It works.
We're just bonding with them because they agree. Because right now, Chris's mom is going, "Yeah, I hate this car."
Sorry, you know what? It runs right now. It works. So we'll give it that. Kudos to the Escape.
Okay. Chris, talk about the Civic.
Yeah, we'll take a little longer than normal. What are you working on for this? Because this is interesting stuff. So the Civic was turbocharged. It ran great, and then it gradually got progressively worse over time. And it still ran great at Thompson, but we were definitely blowing by more oil than we had, enough that the big catch can we put in really wasn't keeping up very well. And we also were pressurizing the cooling system. Just enough that we fill up the overflow bottle. So before New Hampshire replaced the head gasket, thinking, well, that's probably it because it's a Honda and it's turbocharged. That seems to make sense. And for the rest,
you forgot something in that reassembly process, right?
Well, yeah, we're getting there. So apparently, I forgot to put dowel pins in the cylinder head, which is a shame. So.
I love that you say apparently. That's the excuse my cadets give me when they don't do their homework. Well, apparently, no, there's no apparent. I'm sorry, and I'm not picking on you. I'm sorry.
I didn't know. I'd forgotten until Manny pointed out. Where's your dowel pins? Oh, damn it! Dowel pins.
Which, if you honestly think about it, is a compliment that engine made it that long without it.
Yeah, it is. So after we had unturboed it at the track and got it to go run non-turbo, it was still bad. And during the course of Sunday, especially, it was just billowing smoke out of the catch can, like billowing smoke, enough that even it got.
I posted a picture to Facebook. You could see the smoke.
It was bad enough that the driver Eric, when he was out in his chicken sip, he's like, "It's smoking a lot in the car now. Is this okay?" So
I sent him back out.
Yeah.
It's fine.
You know how in the course of we've established that there's on pace and then there's off pace and then there's citron pace.
Yeah.
So I feel like we can establish levels of smoke. There's mental ignoring the oil gauge and the truck level of smoke, and then I don't know, another, and then like the final level of why are you still on the track is like Omar smoke.
West Indian dope smoking team. That's basically what it was. So anyway, we tore it all down, and sure enough, we had destroyed the top rings in all of the cylinders. So apparently I did not set a big enough ring gap, even though when Aaron and I put that together, we were on the big side on gaps. We were actually worried we'd set them too big, but we did not. So what happened is the ring gap closed as it got hot, and therefore the ring had nowhere else to go but explode and break. And then the real problem is a number of the pieces of ring in 2 cylinders got up into the combustion chamber. Ooh. And once in there, they knocked themselves around quite a bit. There's even some nice indentations where some of them were apparently vertical when the piston came up, and it just pressed into the piston and pressed into the head and gouged the hell out of the block. So the head that had all that free labor time in porting that made nice power is trash. Now it's an end table or a paperweight.
Oh, that I am not mocking you. I am genuinely bummed because I remember Chrissy posting pictures of that headwork being done in the kitchen next to the sink.
Yeah, well, that was only disassembly. Then, so also the block has some nice gouges in the piston liners. So it's at the machine shop right now to have the guys trying to see if it's salvageable or not. It was fun, though, when I dropped the engine block off in the NSX. They got a kick out of that.
Now, I don't know what those things go for up there, but I mean, how expensive is an engine block? Or are you just really wanting to stick with a proven thing rather than go to the junkyard yank another?
We have a bunch of them.
Yeah, we have 2 more sitting around.
We have no shortage of engines around here.
Yeah.
Now, which is this the block out of the original Spam Honda?
Nope.
The Wago van?
That's next
you still
in line.
Have that one.
Oh yeah, that's next in line. Once the machine shop tells me what I'm expecting is that they say, yep, this one isn't going to work, then the old hero motor from the Wago van gets torn apart and built up for the next one. So that's the plan right now. It's sitting on a furniture dolly ready to move. It did a wonderful job. So we'll try it again, but now I have to do all those little things I did at the old block, like port open all the oil passageways and chamfer, remove the sharp edges from anywhere in the block, but add it to the girdle and clearance for other things and et cetera, et cetera. A lot of work. We'll do it again. Yay. Hey, it'll be better this time. Another thing I'm going to do is instead of using an air die grinder for all the work, which my crappy Craftsman compressor couldn't really keep up with it and have to stop and wait for about half the time for it to keep up and for it to rest.
Now, do you have a full-size one, or are you talking about the pancake one you bring to the track?
It's a
we
medium
have a full size.
No, it's a medium size. It's the full-size ones are as big as us and have 2 pistons on them and run on 220. This one is a 30-gallon, oilless, loud as hell, annoying, but has worked for 20 years.
I think I have the 50-gallon version of that one. Yeah.
So it's not good to keep me up with a die grinder going all the time. So I'm buying a Makita corded die grinder.
Ooh,
it's not super exciting, it's not, but this one it'll run without stopping, and I think it'll go a lot faster if I can do that. Because before I really had to stop all the time for the air compressor to catch up. So, plus having done this all before, I think I'll be a little faster this time. We shall see.
Now, and I'll keep asking stupid questions. You just going to do the one head, or are you just going to go get a couple of heads and do it to a couple sets of them?
Only
we
one at a
only
time.
have time for one.
Yeah. I mean, as it is, like I have a trans that I wanted that was grinding a gear, and I have a bunch of parts, and I was like, I'll just freshen that trans up so we have a good spare. That's still sitting there. I haven't done that yet. So we'll get the one head. But fortunately, we bought a cylinder head for $85 up in New Hampshire, so that's going to be the sacrificial head, I think, to as the next one to get done.
Nice.
And then
of course, you sent when you sent Steve on the errand. Here's $80. Go bring me a head.
Right. Bring me the head.
It was yellow.
It was yellow. Some fool had painted the valve cover yellow.
which is great.
JDM,
Because,
yo. It's, yo.
Well, fortunately, whoever it was, though, before I'm sure they blew the bottom end of the motor, had put iridium spark plugs in it. So they obviously cared a little bit. So,
Ooh.
yeah.
Paid extra money at AutoZone for those.
I know, really.
To go along with their Wagner quiet stops.
Yes.
Okay, enough about us. Mental, what are you doing?
So it was Halloween, and you guys know that, Vicky's a bit of a Halloweenie. So we were getting that set up. We had a projector on the side of the house projecting various phantasms and that sort of thing. And then Vicky had all the lights out. And then we had the animated Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers that we have, all that stuff standing out there. So that was a good part.
I didn't see any pictures. Did you post any to Facebook?
No, Vicky's all about the IG now. She's trying to be lit for the IG, yo.
Or the what?
The Instagram.
Oh.
That's
what is that?
That's what the kids.
It's a
saying.
thing that makes your pictures look worse.
So nothing to Facebook at all?
No, I think she just uses Facebook for shopping. I
thought they talked.
Facebook's for people like my
old
age.
people. Oh
Yeah.
shoot!
I thought the two programs talked, and when you posted something on one, it went on the other. Sometimes
I think you have to tell it to.
But that is like such a I'm an internet model kind of move.
My level of literacy with this is like first grade.
Well, I hope it was great. I wish I had seen it.
No, and you know what? I'll make it a point to post on Facebook because we've all three kind of been busy enough this week. We neglected the Facebook. I forgot to post the Petty Cash Ralph
video. I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got that on there, and we probably missed a couple of other things on that one. But so we had Halloween, and then in the realm of our giant station wagons, the Suburban's been kind of acting up lately. Back before Italy's or Vicky's parents or went to Italy with her dad and her brother. The Suburban would just randomly decide what temperature it wants it to be. I would set the controls to 69 degrees, and it would decide, no, 90 is exactly what I want.
Gosh.
Yeah, in
That's
the
a
summer
lot.
in Atlanta. Yeah, no, it'll be fine.
I'm sorry, Mental. I can't do that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Dave. I can't let you. So then, winter came about, and I get a text from Vicky. She's like, driver's side heat, just not working. Passenger side is. So it's like, oh, I'd like it to be 80 degrees. No, you'll take 52.
Right. Here's some AC. Let's match the outside weather right now.
So, and then the front AC and the back AC were like fighting, finish him. We took it to a specialist, and so they went through it. And then the first thing we found is actually we'd managed to shred the air conditioning belt, which I don't know how that happened.
We did that?
Yeah, we did. On the way back from New Hampshire, we heard something squeaking, couldn't figure out what it was, and all of a sudden it stopped. But that was October, so we didn't know anything was wrong until May, and then said, why don't this AC work? I tried to charge it wasn't taking a charge. I don't know what's wrong.
That was my call. Actually, I said, you remember that belt? Yeah, we lost that belt. That's when we lost it.
Yeah, the tensioner seized and belt strip.
I was all about okay, I thought it was all going to be driven off that super gigantor serpentine belt, which I've been kind of obnoxious about staying on top of, so I've changed the thing a couple of times. I never knew there was an AC belt, and the guy's like, yeah, if you don't know it's there, you'll never find it.
Yeah, the little tiny belt behind the serpentine belt. Because again, I have also changed the serpentine belt when I did the water pump and refreshed the whole cooling system. And aren't I good? I do all that, and then didn't change the $8 AC belts. And of course, I got my nice new tensioner on it because the old tensioner totally seized. That's what failed it. So been there.
So you're gonna put a new one in?
Well, so they put the belt on there, and the air conditioner still didn't work. And then the other thing about the heating is they're actuators. They divert to the windshield or to the floor vents or to the vents in front of your face. Now, in the Suburban, at least the 1500, there are 4 of them, and they are $125 a piece, and they like to fail, about the 170,000 mile range, which is, this guy, it is a well-versed thing. He knew all about them. And sure enough, a couple of ours had gone out, and it was going to cost me $1,000 if I wanted all 4 of them done. I'm like, make it so the windshield will get hot. We're good. So yeah, they replaced one of them, and that was the where the Suburban was all week.
So you're saying I've got 7,000 miles left until that happens?
Until they're eligible to go out, yes. Which
okay.
It just reaffirmed that I've got to get Vicky an actually nice car and then take the Suburban back, for whatever torture I decide to put it through on that one. The upside is I fired up the VFR and rode it to work twice last week, which was so nice. I need to make it a point to do that more often.
You should. Did you put a new tire on it?
Nope. Just hoped it didn't rain and took the turn slow.
That's great.
That's unsafe, actually.
It is. There's like tread over on like kind of on one side of the tire, but yeah, it needs a new tire.
Yeah, just a bit. Well, at least you wear all the gear all the time.
I do actually. So,
cool.
All right. So news and notes. We are doing obnoxiously well on time. God, we are just not good without Jeff.
Or we're so much better. We'll leave that for him to decide and our 3 listeners.
Well, there'll be 4 this week because Jeff will be one of them.
That's true.
That's true. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff. We miss you already. So, news and notes. I wanted to start actually talking about lemons, but before I start about lemons, the Chump series had their East Coast Championship, rather clever pun, actually at Atlanta Motorsports Park over the weekend. I didn't realize this because usually I only pay attention to Chump schedule when I get invited. But it was. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and it was right down the street, and you didn't get invited.
That it's true. It's true.
It's a shame.
It is because I only run with a couple teams actually just the one team that runs Chump, but they had it poured Saturday. It was like Halloween events were getting canceled. Vicky and I didn't go out for Halloween because it was raining so bad on there. So those guys are up there. But here's what's of note is an SC300 that I've seen this thing on the track. It won the race and apparently rather decisively too by a good full lap. Number 3 overall was a Mitsubishi 3000 GT, and it's Team Jackie X, and they run 2 of these things, and they are usually disasters because DSM.
Right.
But
because Mitsubishi 3000 GT, this is not a surprise.
No. But what's funny is these guys are starting to figure this car out. They are actually starting to, and I've seen it last longer and longer every time I sneak down there and run one of those. And they actually got 3rd overall. Of note is number 7 overall was the Hongnor Trans Am, which is driven by Boswell, another one of the GRM 2000 Challenge alumni and I've been against him on track a couple times. God, he is quick.
They have some very, very good drivers on that team.
They do, and it started out as 2 of those Mazda MX-3s, which eventually, after a number of incidents, became 1. They literally cut one in half and welded it onto the other one. And they've run some SCCA Enduros with that car, so they have really figured that thing out.
Yeah, for a 4-cylinder Mazda MX-3, it embarrassed some very good machinery. They've got that car dialed in.
They really do. I remember years ago when they brought it out to Texas Eagles Canyon for what was going to be the series championship for the team. And they drug both of those things out there, and they were going against what was a confederation of Taurus SHOs under a guy called the Showfather. And he's got the whole, copying the 3-pedal Mafia just a few years before we did it. Guy with the Mafia, the Godfather logo, but they were like 9 of these Taurus SHOs out there, and they were all driving like just clowns because they knew they had the biggest cars, and they used to really like to intimidate people, and they'd brake check you going into corners.
Oh, that's no fun to drive. That's no fun.
Yeah, we figured out we had a Miata, so as soon as they brake checked us, we used that as count 2 seconds, and that's your brake marker. So you dive to the inside of them and then hit your brakes. We were getting around them on that one. The last lap of that race, our Miata blew up, as it so often did. And the show guys got on my website I owned at the time, OK Speed, and accused us of blowing our motor on purpose to get a yellow flag on the track so that Hongnor could win the team championship. Because
I know that was your goal.
And Justin Howe got on there and said, yes, it was the blow engine now button right on the dash. And we waited to the last lap to push it because that's what we want to do is throw another junkyard motor in this damn Miata.
Yep.
Yeah. And I ended up running against those guys in March when they were when they were here for Road Atlanta, and they were fighting the Casey Carden onslaught of Miatas, and they were having to push that car because they had lost a couple of the gears in the transmission. So it's nice to see them get it back together. Chrissy?
Oh, I just was wondering, I ask this every time. So you're talking about all the cars that have been in 1st, 3rd, 7th, 8th. How many cars were there total?
I looked because I knew you would ask.
Sorry, not sorry?
No, don't apologize. You keep me honest. There were 20 that were there that were in contention for the championship with another 35 that were on the entrant list. So about 55 cars, which it's a sub 2 mile track at Atlanta Motorsports Park, and it's very technical. So that was probably really interesting.
Oh, good. Because sometimes I feel like you could have 5, and then there's only 15 cars. So
and then it's boring. Then it's just a big track day. You don't see anybody. You don't race against anybody. It's just boring.
And that's going to be the death of the SCCA and NASA because they'll run a group of 20 cars and there's 7 classes in it, and they're all trying to get their tire contingency money. Meanwhile, folks like us are like, just put us somewhere, as long as we could race. What time's the track go cold? When can I open a beer?
That's about right, actually. Hey, speaking of contingency money, I got accepted to Honda Racing Development's racing program, so I get discounts and stuff.
You can buy a Type R engine for $6,000, a crate Type R motor
the
now.
new one,
if you're in that program. Yes.
Yes,
you should totally do that. Yep. Do that and then just drop that in the Civic, leave the giraffe head on it, and take the 200 penalty laps.
Yeah. Who knew? Did they say you must submit your entry, your results forms for at least 2 races this past year that have to have certain things on them, and you must submit your entry card, your membership card to a racing organization, and this and that and that. So I printed out, I screenshotted the results from Thompson and from New Hampshire and highlighted our results on there, and I also did a screen print of my Lemons there's Lemons license, that's all I got. So I put that all in, and they said yes.
Wait, there's a Lemons license because I haven't had one. I pay a $50 fee. I've never had a license.
That's it. So that's why I did the screenshot of here is my Lemons thing saying you are valid, your name and your license is good, and that's it.
What are you doing?
So that's that.
Where did you get this? Did you make it up? Was it in crayon?
Yeah, totally.
That is so awesome.
I had to fill out a form. I had to do all this stuff, fill out all kinds of things about what chassis I have, what engine code I have, all this stuff. And, hey, they accepted me, so now I can buy parts for discount. So, hey, thanks, Honda.
Okay, so Fat Crack Racing and OK Speed, if you're listening, and I know you're not, you guys should totally do that because you guys have a similar racing pedigree, and you could totally buy one of those Type R engines for $6,000.
Now that I'm having to build a new motor, I'm going to need some parts. So I'm going to see how it works and how well it works. And hey, why not?
Okay, so yeah, let's put a pin in that because I actually want to hear that an update on a future episode. We should totally be sponsored by Honda Parts.
We're ready for them. Like the plug we gave Mazda for their 2017 CX-5 with all kinds of new active safety features. It's a great car. Thanks. Hey, Mazda.
We'll take any sponsor at this point. Anything.
I would actually, because the big one out there now that you're seeing on Slip Angle Podcast and Smoking Tires, Beeline Coffee. And I know you guys aren't coffee people, but
I'm a coffee person.
Oh, it is worth the hype, Beeline Coffee. And they do this. Well, they do this thing at the racetrack. It's a cold nitro brew. So you get it, and it's like a cold Guinness, but it's coffee. And it is so
You're
good.
So excited.
See that, man. Advertiser? See what a great pitch we can do for you.
Oh, man. Nitro brew cold coffee for Beeline. If you are at any track event and they have that, drink it and you will understand. Oh, yes.
All right. Okay. Hey, back to news and notes.
Seriously.
All right, back to news and notes.
Here's a news.
As we rarely do.
Here's news. It seems, against all odds, Three Pedal Mafia has won the East Coast Championship of Lemons and the Drivers' Championship. So the team gets us a free entry into Atlanta. That's nice. I emailed Nick about it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that thing. Yeah, sure. Just tell me when you're done. I can hit 0." The driver's win gets us absolutely nothing.
We told you we would give you. All right, damn it.
All right, we got to take that out of the rules next year. So yeah, I think we're one of the very few people who have ever used that.
Unless you're Three Pedal Mafia.
Right, we've used it twice now, which that's fun. So
I didn't realize nobody else used it.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, most of the East Coast teams don't go west because we went once and rented the car from Dave Scheibel and Fish. We did that, and we're doing it now. So
I wonder who wins the West Coast when it's on the West Coast. Somebody probably uses it.
They probably
there.
did when they're out west, but now that the season enders in the East.
Yeah, it's us. Cool.
Yeah, hey, woohoo, we're winners, sort of.
Atlanta's not south?
It is south, but it's a lot
East
easier
south.
for us to go than for California.
Yes, sure. I'm sorry. I was trying to think of it. It's probably listed in the southern region.
It is. It's in
Yes.
it's in the south region, not the Gulf region or the east region. The south.
Okay. That sounded dumb, but
Don't we only have? Well, now we have 4 races down here because we're going to have NOLA, we're going to have Alabama, Road Atlanta, and CMP.
CMP is south. I think the other ones are Gulf.
Alabama's because
That might be south.
yeah,
CMP and Barber might be south, and NOLA is definitely Gulf.
Oh yeah, okay.
I don't know what.
And
they're
then
gonna,
one of the
Atlanta's going to be south. They might put
Texas.
Barber in there. Yeah, the Houston ones are Gulf.
Definitely.
We'll see what they do. Anyway,
Which is a fantastic segue because this weekend, Lemons Houston is coming up. And so I don't know if you guys, I imagine Tetanus is going to show up. They're usually pretty strong. I imagine one of the Inglorious Bass Turds, Jerry Ringel and the crew with the Thunder Chicken will be down there. You guys know anybody that's going to try and make that run?
we know nobody in Texas really except Tetanus. And one of these days we said we should go down and do a Texas race just because we don't know any of those people. We've never done those tracks. We should do that. And then we do things like Barber and Atlanta and stuff.
And have to rebuild an engine and fix our house.
Like this year, our away race was Kentucky.
Nice. Tetanus is like a very much like a 3-pedal race with kids. You know, they feed everybody. They set up a compound. You know, they have a not as polished of a pit mom and a pit dad, but they've got a good system down there. And plus, you know, the first there was no 3-pedal mafia back in the day when I met you guys, but the first race I did is when I met Dr. Mom, and she and Chris have been awesome ever since then.
Yeah, we've met Mary and Chris before. They're great.
They are. I wish we could have made it to the gathering of the Chris's that they did out in Denver.
Oh,
a couple
seriously?
Of years.
Yeah, we did.
Wow.
We were missing.
Yes. So that is awesome about the 3-pedal mafia. So yeah, then good luck to everybody running down in Texas. I hope it doesn't rain too terribly much. Every time I go down to Houston, it seems like it's cold and rainy.
Every race they seem to have is some kind of a biblical event. It's either epic rain or it's like
snow.
Hey, when is there snow and ice in Houston? This weekend. That's when, bitches.
And that track is so absurd. It's a great country club model, but as an actual racetrack, I hate that track. Not Englishtown level of hate, but oh man, do I not like that track.
I don't think there's any worse hate for a track than Englishtown. That's so bad.
So bad. So effing bad.
Okay.
But it's like they had a flat track and they're like, oh crap, we need to like do something. So they just put a hump of a hill right in front of a 90-degree right-hand turn, which, you know, makes it really fun in the rain when you're doing 12 and the car still completely slides off the track on you when you're trying to make that turn.
All right. Fantastic. I want to go there now.
All right. You'll love it. It's out in the middle of nowhere. It's great. Okay, so let's move on to our main topic. Unless you guys get any more news.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Oh, wait. Oh, you know what? It's not on the notes, but I was having a conversation with Soggy this week. You guys being on the
That's a story in and of itself, but anyway, keep going.
Okay, fair enough. You know, out on the West Coast, you guys have probably run against Ferkel, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So Ferkel went up for sale.
Saw
Saw that.
Yeah, and guess who picked it up?
Soggy?
Yeah, now I have no idea how he's going to get it home.
No
the last
way.
time he bought a car on the West Coast, it sat in my garage in Oklahoma for 3 months. But yeah, apparently it's his.
This can only end well.
Oh, absolutely. There is no fail in that plan at all.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I look forward to seeing the 911 Soggy mobile. Yeah. Wow. Good for him. Okay. All right. So, Mental, to start us up on our topic here and what you want to see.
So, granted, the mighty 3-pedal mafia has been invited to the closing ceremonies. Okay. Oh, good to know. Okay. So, coming coming up is basically it's the end of the season. Now it's a little later for you guys than you're used to, because normally you guys wrapped up in October. And actually for the longest time, that was my final race too, until I moved back here.
Yeah, we're usually done after Halloween Hoopty Fest until they start up in New Jersey in the spring. So we had 6 months off, except for our away race in California that we weren't driving, or we weren't bringing a car. So this is different for us.
Mm-hmm. So just meditating on that for a bit, because it was when I first got into this back in Nebraska, it was the same kind of concept. You had your last event, you wore your jackets and it was kind of cold, and then you put everything away and started driving like a jerk in February waiting for the first race. So it's an off season, and I was just thinking, what are your goals for next year as team owners, as arrive and drives, as principals, as builders, and maybe not just related to racing, but things about if you've got something you want to accomplish this year. Don't you guys? I think you guys get some sort of minor weekend plan next fall. Some sort of minor get together with friends and family. Yeah. So that, anyway, but you have any racing goals? You got car goals? You got non-race car goals? Just things you want to do next year? And what's your plan for getting there? Because the big thing in the military, they always beat into our heads, is goals have to be measurable and achievable. And I'm sure your corporate training's given you some semblance or a variation of that theme.
You bet. Goal is going to be smart. It's going to be specific, measurable, achievable, reachable, and tangible.
No, timely.
Timely. That's what it is. Yeah, timely. That's it. Or time specific. Whatever. It's been a while since I did a development plan for somebody. It's been like 6 months. So, yeah. Our first goal is get the Civic sorted again. We had it there with the power. We had it there, as a contender at pointy end of the field. Now we just need to make it reliable enough so I'm not building new motors every 3 races. That's going to be the key. We also need to figure out the rest of our team and the cars and whatnot, and which car we have is going to go where and who's driving what, and are we going to send a mental a car or not? And really, we have to work on the kitchen. That's going to be a big life goal, is getting this kitchen that's been underway for years now, and I keep making progress on the kitchen, and then we have to fix a race car, so we stop making progress on the kitchen.
Or have to do emergency bathroom remodel.
Right, which is coming along nicely. The tile is down, the grout is down. Now I have to paint the wainscoting and install that in the trim, and we're almost done.
I'd like to point out that in the time that this kitchen has been under remodeling, I was both promoted to major and retired from the military.
Oh, and we've also lived here for 6 years, 5 years since we started the kitchen.
Were we really remodeling the kitchen at that point, Metal, or was it the other parts of the house?
Yes.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
Because I want to say I visited one time and the fridge was like in another room, or
no, that was the oven or washer and dryer.
Yeah. Yes, and they were in your drawing room as you first walked in.
Yeah,
and I think it's been longer. When did you guys move into that house? Because I remember, was it 2010 when the first time I crashed out there for
November
something?
November 2009 we bought the house.
Okay, November 2009.
We've made a lot of progress since then.
Now,
the kitchen is the last thing to go, because all the other things we've done have been to get ready for the kitchen. And one of the things I was saying is one of our things we have to figure out while you were gone getting more tequila is that we need to figure out what we're doing for cars and what's going where, and do we give Mental one of the cars we have here to hopefully drive and not break too badly, and what else is going on, because we've got this Integra that's out there now.
Yes, I think the safest bet is to give me the Integra, because then when I screw it up, we're not all like out a bunch of money or a good car.
Well, here's the thing. I talked to Bruce today, talked to the guy that has it, who is currently quite angry about the whole situation, and he said the car is terrible. It's been sitting outside for a year and a half, and it's completely not even close to anywhere near the semblance of a race car. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's that.
There's that, which is nice.
Yeah, really, the biggest thing is I think our team goal is push for an overall. We've got the car. When it's running right, it's fast enough. I think we are just about good enough. Everyone needs to tighten it up just a little bit to get that extra 1 or 2 seconds a lap average that we need to have, and we need to have the car last more than 2 races on a motor.
Now,
a lot. Yes.
And I want to ask again, as a team owner, do you think those 2 seconds are being left on the track? Or you think they're in the pits?
They're on the track. We've gotten our pits down pretty well. When we try for a pit stop, we are fast. Example, last time at New Hampshire when I was working with Aaron and Dave in the Cressida, we gained 2 laps on our nearest competitor in the pits. That's it.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Pit game is strong.
When we're trying, we've got a strong pit game. I remember we fueled the boat from the moment the car stopped to the moment it left with 18 gallons of gas under 3 minutes. Gone.
And that boat was not easy to fuel because it was a side pour and it didn't flow very well.
It was okay. The Civic, you got problem is you got to get in the hatch to fill the Civic up, and when you're doing it, it's going to take 18, 19 gallons, and it takes a while to do that. But we've gotten pretty fast at it. We know what we're doing. Our belts are set up. We've done this enough, so we're not leaving time in the pits. We're leaving time on the track now. We picked the low-hanging fruit.
That's real impressive. That's awesome.
Like the only thing we could do is go for dry brakes. That's hundreds of dollars and all kinds of setup differences, and we're not quite there yet. But I think we're pretty fast.
And you're saying you don't even want to bother with a removable steering wheel. I can't imagine you fussing with dry brakes.
I don't get the removable steering wheel thing. We get in and out fine, and it takes extra seconds to take the wheel on and put it back off and on. I don't get it.
I'll goodbye some of our associated listeners. Most of the 3-pedal mafia that climbs in and out of the Civic is fit, so that they fit.
Well, gentlemen of ample carriage, I can understand needing the removable wheel. But for the people that we have in the Civic, everyone gets in and out just fine because the door bars are enormous. There's plenty of room in there. Everyone can get in and out fine. We don't need to take the extra 3 seconds each way.
The seats are on sliders, so we move them out, and it's easy. That might be helpful in some other cars that don't have them on sliders.
And it's even a tilt wheel still. So you can do that.
Okay, yeah. Have you guys upgraded the containment seat in the Civic? God, it's been so many years.
No, it's still the Momo fiberglass FIA one. That's fine.
Because everything else I'm running is a containment seat, so it is a bit of a challenge, even with the seats on sliders, getting in and out of there on a fixed roof car.
Yeah, no, this one it's a Civic hatchback. The doors are enormous.
Those are enormous.
We made the cage with tons of room. Getting in and out is no problem. One thing people can do that we haven't really had to do that Manny told me about from their team is they have a guy on the pit stop. His designated job is the remover. So what he will do is grab onto the shoulder straps on everyone's fire suit that are there to make you pull your sack of meat out of the car, and he will just lift and haul and pull your ass out of the car because he can do it faster than you can climb out.
Well, I mean, if you're doing it right, then you should be undoing your belts already, and you're already preparing as you're coming down pit row. Yeah. So you, in theory, don't. I mean, I wouldn't need that. I think I can fall out pretty fast.
You can. Well, you're nimble and quick. Like, I wouldn't worry about you or Steve getting out of the car fast. Other people.
But I wonder how if he could pull a man with ample carriage, how fast they climb out. How fast he wouldn't even have to use 2 hands on Chrissy. It would just be just grab her by the haunch.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. All right.
Mental, what are your goals here?
Well, I want to get to me, but I do want to talk about measurable and achievable. How are you getting those 2 seconds?
Oh,
well, Chrissy can talk about how she's going to get those 2 seconds for herself, and for Jim and Jeff, I think it's going to be focus on those. They've never really been pushing to win overall, so now we're going to be comparing our telemetry times at the end of the day, see where people are leaving time on the table. We've done some coaching in car when we could, like we did that at Thompson, and that was helpful a lot for Jeff. So that's the kind of thing we need to do, and I think both of those guys need to get their asses to an HPDE and get some right seat time or someone in the right seat and have them tell them what's going on. Everyone needs a little coaching now and then. I don't care how you go DR.
And I say this as a compliment to Jeff. I think Jeff is there's a lot of untapped potential there just because he is track wise, he's very risk averse.
He is to a point, but he also just needs to push a little harder in the right places and back off in the right places. That's the thing.
And just getting more comfortable with doing that. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's a good one. All right. So my thing is actually kind of simple. Granted, I have the world's longest 911 project in the garage that I need to get rid of. But what I'm finding is I'm just a way better arrive and drive than I am car owner. He said to the 2 people he's trying to convince to loan him a car. But it's
this is nothing new to us.
Exactly.
You admitting it doesn't make it a revelation.
No, it just makes me proud of you.
Good job.
So, well, and I think part of it is I've fallen back into a job that I really enjoy, and that does take a lot of my time away from racing, which I think actually makes me appreciate racing more. So, as a serial arrive and drive, it does take planning and prep. I do, to almost an obnoxious level, take pride in my physical fitness. I wouldn't still mind having a proper track toy. If Vicky gets a proper car, I'm just kicking around the idea of turning the Mercedes into a time attack HPDE, because it's not like I get any money selling it. And there's probably 8,000 pounds I could pull out of it in weight that would make it interesting on a track. Get something that's, at least legal in most sporting organizations. And then for no other reason than it's fun, I would really love to go rally crossing again. When I was stationed in Colorado, I got a Dave Menarche from the old GRM board sold me a SPG Saab 900 turbo that I couldn't get a title for, so I just took rally crossing, and it was a blast just sliding cars around. That's a lot of fun. I think it reinforces some car control principles.
I've always wanted to try rallycross. I've never had a car that I cared little enough about that was not already set up for road course stuff that I was willing to use.
And that's key. It's got to be something you just don't like, because it is going to get gravel and mud and all kinds of unpleasantness everywhere. But it's been 10 years since I've done that, and my personal goals, trying to get better at my job, and I really want to run another marathon. I was on a kick where I was doing one a year for a while, and I don't, I've fallen out of that habit, and I want to get back into it.
Okay, there.
So. Yeah. And I've had it. It's probably a slightly depressing conversation, but I'm not trying to make it a depressing conversation. But I'm, come to the realization that I probably don't have any time left on track. I mean, physically, as far as my abilities, sure, I am way slower than I should be. But just as I ever creep up in age, I've probably gotten about as fast on a track as I'm going to get. There might be a second or two out there left, but I just remember seeing some of these the older guys at the track, and they're still having fun, but they'll freely admit they're not as quick as they used to be.
I don't believe it. I think you
I
still
don't
have
think
it.
so
I
either.
think you still have plenty. You just need some good coaching, my friend. Some good coaching gets you out of your habits that are wrong, get you into some new habits, and find you the speed that you think you don't have because you think you plateaued. You need some coaching.
Like I said, yeah, no, I don't think that I've achieved the optimum level in skill. I just, it might be just one of those things where I'm too set in my habits, and maybe I do. I just need some good coaching, and I've spent too much time in the left seat, and I need to get back, or in the right seat, and I need to get back in the left seat and have someone barking at me.
Absolutely, and when they do, you're gonna be mad at yourself that you didn't see it and you didn't notice it. But that's exactly what you need, is someone to tell you, no, don't lift here. What are you doing? Keep going.
Yeah.
No, you can make this corner. Things like that. Break at the
and
one.
That's
say,
very
no,
insightful. I'm gonna be very mad at myself. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
You're like, damn it, why didn't I think of that? I know I can do that. And then every time you come up to that corner again, you're going to hear that guy in your ear, and you're going to do it, and it'll be okay. And there's your second, at least.
Yeah.
And pushing yourself after you already heard that person, pushing to a little bit further and trying things even though they're not comfortable.
Sometime on track, especially when you're out of contention, a bit, pick a corner and work on it. Say, I'm going to work on corner 1 for 3 laps, 5 laps.
Now, you gave me that advice earlier, when we were having like our informational meetings, and I did exactly that. I took that piece of advice when I was running at in Mid-Ohio, and I would just pick a corner, and then like after the race, I talked to Sam, and I ended up trimming almost a full second off my time from Saturday to Sunday by working on one. It was one specific corner as you come out of Madness and you enter into the carousel. I was braking way too late and too hard. And there was a way to carry a whole lot more speed into the corner, and I got comfortable with the car sliding on all fours as it came over a hill, and it was awesome. And I can not just one or two times, I was consistently almost a full second faster.
And that's one of the beauties of endurance racing is you've got 2 hours in the track in the car. You have time to pick a corner, work on it, get it, move to the next one, repeat.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I always say this, my favorite thing about racing is it's a circle of improvement. Oh, I figured out every corner on this track. This is perfect. Oh, wait, now my equation for turn 1 is all jacked up.
Yep. Keep going.
Yeah.
That's why everyone said, oh, I've got turn 3, but all of a sudden now you're coming into turn 3 10 miles an hour faster because you figured out 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yep.
Exactly.
Cool. Chrissy, what about you?
And lightness.
I want to get faster. So this year was a lot of improvement. I think I did a whole bunch of HPDEs, not sure, 2, 3, 4, something like that. And learned from a whole lot of people. So I had different coaches. We went to pit race. We went to people, like I had coaches that I didn't know. So I think that helps. So yes.
Well, and I was going to say, and yeah, everything you've done, I just saw the result at NCM, and you were, and I told you this, you were incredible. You were very, very fast.
And I actually learned plenty actually just talking to Chris from Saturday to Sunday, because I know that there were a couple of things that I was breaking and shifting in the wrong place, and I said I was struggling here and there. I know I talked with both of you about different corners and all the corners in NCM, and I think I really improved. So I've been caring more. Even at New Hampshire, we didn't drive a whole lot, and when we did, it was slow. But I took the opportunity to really concentrate on the things that I learned this year and really try to, even if I'm moving slowly, I'm going to try to go a little bit faster and brake a little less and remember all the things that I learned all year. So I think, getting faster, obviously Chris said we need to get faster or we're not going to win. And I don't want to be that guy who's the slowest guy on the team. So that's a goal of mine. And I guess, so that's not really measurable, or it's not a SMART goal, which I'm sorry because I did not prepare said SMART goal.
Well, is it because you race basically the same tracks, and you know what your average was last year in a very fast car, and I think you could measure that probably with.
And we can always pull it back up. We know about when people were, and like for Thompson, we did a spreadsheet of when everyone was in and out, and everyone's average lap times and number of lap times over a certain threshold, et cetera, like that. So that's something we can definitely measure.
Yeah. Well, measure getting better, I guess, is a little bit nebulous, but it's but I'm just trying to practice getting faster. And then I guess on the personal side, we got to plan a wedding. So I feel like we've
Does Chris know that you're doing that?
I think so.
Wait, what? Are you sure?
No, actually, that's what I said. So we need to do something. We haven't sent out save the dates or anything like that. So that is on my list of things that now need to become a priority because they haven't been.
Just do it. Hey, guys, just show up at this address. Bring some beer. Somebody pick up some pizzas. Is anybody an ordained minister or can get on the internet?
Jeff.
Yeah.
Of course, Jeff's an ordained minister. Of course
he will be.
He's not. He's filling out the form because the state of Massachusetts is very liberal like that. And if you fill out the form and pay your $20 60 days in advance, you get your one-day permit. So, it's Jeff.
Speaking of Jeff, who's not here, and this show has gone off the rails because of it. Where's the title on the Citroen?
Jeff, come on.
I think it's supposed to go this week.
I thought it was next
week. And here's why I bring that up.
November sometime, and it's just barely November now.
Oh, that's right.
So Sam Smith is waxing poetically on Instagram about how he wants a Citroen. I'm like, I know a cheap one. And because it's a Lemon's car, it's right up your alley, Sam, because you're an automotive sadomasochist.
Hey, it's the cheapest running and driving one that he's ever going to find.
That's true.
Yeah, no, it's not cheap in the sense of a cheap Honda, no, but it's cheap in the sense of Citroens.
Yeah, the cheapest running driving Citroen SM in the world, probably.
In the world.
And it's caged.
Yes. And has a pedigree.
Yeah. So Sam, if you're listening, hi. And if you're interested, hi.
Call us.
Nice. So hell sweeter but terrible. We've been dancing this dance about going to NOLA, and you guys are lukewarm on the idea, but it's my spring break the week before, so I'm going. And I got an email from Chris Champion, so I'm going to go down there and run that race with tetanus.
Well, I guess then we don't have to worry about giving you a card then. That makes it easy. Thanks, Chris and Mary.
And of course, that's hella sweet. Like, that's not even a question.
Yeah. Duh.
Well, again, it's running with tetanus. And, now you talk about teams that theme well. Tetanus themes well. And they do so clothing-wise. Like, like the Three Pedal Mafia shirts, their wear is often sought out. Like the Upton Sinclair's Quality Meat products. And the ones with the International Minions Organization Labor Union,
no, they're fantastic. They always have run a good team. They're nice people. Their cars sometimes work, sometimes don't. But that's
so
Lemons.
Santa Manual of Pains, yes.
Yeah, that's Lemons.
But if you know what you're getting into, there's cars that usually work all weekend, and there's teams that.
But you know you're going to have a good time with them. They run a good show.
No,
They're
you're
nice
going to
people.
have a good time. They
Absolutely.
are, yeah. So, that leaves us to
Just
the tip.
I look forward to how you guys are going to say that. It's fun.
One of these days, we're going to work it out, and it's going to be professional, and you're going to be totally taken aback.
Yeah, no, I don't want it to be professional. It's like how we sing Happy Birthday, not professional.
Wait, no one's ever going to be excited about Just the Tip.
Okay, so this week's Just the Tip comes from a personal experience. It is unlike last week, which feedback
Wait,
from
I want to
Chris's
edit
mom.
that part right. Oh God, that's even better. I want to edit that part right now and use that as the promo. So Just
No.
the Tip comes from personal experience from Chris's mom.
No. My mom didn't like last week's safety tip about throwing up in the helmet. She thought that was gross. Anyway, so this week
Just
is
why it's important to not do.
I suppose. This week is safe lifting. So this weekend, I hurt my back. We started lifting weights again after a couple very busy weeks. So we started lifting last Thursday. So I probably did something a little bit wrong when I was lifting, and I was really sore. And so this weekend on Saturday, I helped to push the Civic out of the garage. We pushed it up the hill. And then I started doing stuff and just kind of moving around. And when I twisted to get some wheels out of the passenger side of the Civic, and I went to lean over, and I didn't lift with my legs because I had to kind of twist the wheel and twist myself to get the wheel out. And I pulled something serious in my back. I really am struggling to move around, and it's very uncomfortable. So my safety tip is no matter how old or how young or how good of shape or not, you can always hurt your back, and it still sucks. So make sure that if you're going to lift something, lift with your legs, please. Don't
And
twist.
if anyone knows how to lift properly, and I say this no sarcasm because this actually is your job.
Oh, sure. I mean, this is a safety thing that, yes, people at my job get hurt all day, every day. And this is, of course, something, yes, we do preach to them that this is something that they should be doing, but it also sucks when the safety person hurts their back. I kind of don't tell anybody that I'm like, oh, ow, that hurts. Oh, I'm fine. I can move.
I was squatting 240 at the gym the other day, and then this weakling over here was dropping his 50-pound barbell, so I had to go grab it.
At least you didn't hurt yourself at work, because when the safety person he hurts himself at work, no one wants that paperwork.
No, not at all. And I don't want to tell anybody that there is that paperwork. So, yeah, and actually I used my excuses like, yeah, I was pushing a car, and that was, that's why I hurt my back.
Do you say car? Do you say race car?
Because
it sounds tougher when you say race car.
True. Now I'll say that. But anyway,
I was pushing my race car out of the garage so it didn't scuff my supercar. Yeah,
that might have happened actually. So basically, my end result is if you get hurt and you've ever pulled your back, you will remember how bad it sucks, and you will try to remind yourself not to do things that are stupid. So don't hurt your back. Lift safe.
Safe tip: don't do things that are stupid.
Oh,
that is actually my safety briefing to my students every Friday. Don't do anything stupid. Don't get injured, and I don't want to hear about any negative conversations with law enforcement.
Fair enough. And with that,
all right, let's see if I can actually get this to work. Because we don't have Jeff's awesome mixing pedal. Hide that so it doesn't make a noise.
you can do it. Come on,
All
Michael.
right, here we go. All right.
Come on.
So, it would appear that you have just about wasted exactly one more hour of time. So, let's do this.
Can you get the music to play?
Can I get the music to play?
Could have been doing this while I was talking.
I don't sing the song very well.
Oh, wait, great. I'm doing the Jeff where I'm playing the intro over again.
No, we don't need that.
Oh, my God. Okay.
You're
Thanks for
terrible at
downloading
this.
us.
Thanks for downloading.
hope
this.
you've
Okay.
enjoyed
No. I promise you I can get it. Here it comes. All right. Dang it. Get back over here.
Hey, Jeff, we miss you.
No. We miss you so very much, Jeff. Okay, there we go. Hey, thanks for downloading us. We hope you've enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. We hope you will also join the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you've enjoyed this podcast, why did it stop playing? Oh, God. Anyway.
Speaking of failure.
If you've enjoyed this podcast, come back next week because Jeff will be back and it'll be so much better. If you didn't like us, email us at everyoneracers@gmail.com. Tell us why we suck, and we may read it on the air and take the feedback seriously. Or if you're Darren, just text me. I'll read that too. Get on our Facebook page. If you have any questions or want to give us some show ideas, or drop us a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or like our team Facebook page, the Three Pedal Mafia Lemons Racing Team. We're also on Instagram and Twitter. We haven't tweeted yet, but we have Instagrammed a couple of times.
What is that? I don't even know what that is.
It makes
You're
your
so
pictures
old.
look worse for the
You're
kids.
so old. All right. And if you'd like to help us produce the show, donate to the cause at patreon.com/everyoneracers. Or if you're Honda or Mazda or Beeline Coffee and you want to throw us a couple of shekels to hawk your
Or
product,
something else. We'll take
which
you
we
to.
are, which we already love. Or anybody else. Thanks again. And until next week, keep the shiny side up. Unless there is no shiny side, then just keep the wheels down.
Bye.
Bye.
We miss you, Jeff.